Hello and welcome to another painting video. Today we're going to be painting the Guntank. As always, pardon our dust as we 3D print things. It's just how it is. For this model, we are going to start off by painting the gray. Usually we start off with other colors, but actually let's start off with the red. There's only one part that's red, two parts that are red, and this needs a lot of coats, as we found out last week from the gun cannon. So we're gonna start with our deep red from AK Interactive Paints. I am enjoying these paints so far, but yeah, so we'll just thin that out a little bit, and then we will get to painting. So all it is the half of the body down here. So we're getting this. So just get in there. Can be a little messy, but try not to be too bad as we get this guy straightened out. Get in here. Get your coat on for your first layer. So that's going to be our first coat. Oh, we also need to get the red. There's one more part that's red. And that is these little winglets on the head. This one you want to be a little careful around because the head's white mostly, so you don't want that red to bleed through. So just do your best to get an initial coat on those guys. And while that dries, we'll start off with our blue, our deep blue. You can see our paint guide here. Again, you do not have to follow the paint guide. You do not have to paint this color. You can paint it whatever color you want. I am painting them the colors from the anime. That's what I grew up with. That's what I like. You know, once we get more stuff later, I might change it up. Might paint ones different colors, but for now, we're just going to be getting all this stuff. So let's get this little track inside of the tracks here. Our blue. And then here's going to be a little tricky because the paint's still drying and we have to put more coats on, but we can at least attempt to do this. See right there how like that red is in there. So just be careful around that. We'll get the front bit here. Now we didn't glue the other ones onto their bases because the bases for the game are going to be hexagonal, but we did glue these guys on before we realized that, so we would normally be able to paint underneath there. But again, like I say, you're not going to be able to see it. You don't have to paint it. I mean, you don't have to paint anything, but if you're on this channel, you're presumably painting something. And if you are painting something, you know, let me know in the comments. What are you painting? What do you guys like to work on? Been looking at some Trench Crusade stuff recently. Really like the lore of it. Hey puppy! So that's what I'm printing right now actually, is I'm printing some terrain for Trench Crusade. Models will be forthcoming. I have a whole video kind of planned for it, to kind of go about kit bashing the army, because I don't like 3D printed models. I mean, we'll go into it in the video. You've seen me with some 3D printed models on this channel. They're always, I mean, even like the last ones before Bushido, right? Those are 3D printed. So we'll see as time goes by. But right now I'm not really a fan of 3D printed models, so we're gonna try to find some ways to customize them and make our own out of plastic models. So that'll be a good video series for you guys to get the imagination flowing for maybe your war bands for Trench Crusade or for anything else really. Hey puppy! What are you doing, mama? She's just walking around. Looking for her to see where she went. I'm like, where'd she go? Leave this vent area pretty open. The neck area. We're definitely probably gonna do another coat of this as well, so how this is going is kind of irrelevant at this point. In the process. Okay, so that's the first coat of that done. So now we'll go back to the red. You can see it's still wet in some areas. And that could be because I put it on too wet. Like I said in my last video, thinning my paints, not really my jam. I do it because that's what you're supposed to do, but I'm trying it out before I completely abandon it. But it's not fun for me. Like, especially if you're using like your paint water too, and it's like, well, the paint water is dirty. It's not like I'm adding all these other colors into the paint when I do this, and I'm not gonna have like a separate thing of water for like, hey, this is the water that you use to mix paints with. Forget the little head pieces. Let's go back to our blue now. How did I get blue paint all over my arm? How did I do that? Okay, then we'll just look for areas that are dark still. You don't really have that second coat on there. And this one we can clean up the body a lot more and get that coated more appropriately. Ah, see, we touched the red and it pulled up in here. That's what happens if you don't wait for your paint to dry. But you just have to work around it and be careful and just be mindful of what you're doing. So we're done with the blue. Let's go to the white, and we're gonna still have to do more red, but we're just off white. And we're gonna get the head here. It's okay if we hit the cockpit area because it is like a light blue screen, so it'll be pretty easy to fix. At least that's what I'm telling myself, so. Just gotta get around these little cannons. Which, were they separate? They were separate, so if you're looking at this and thinking of building your stuff, maybe keep your cannon separate, because it will make the head painting a lot easier when you get there. Okay, now we can go back to the red. We're gonna put some more on our highlight here. And this should be our last coat here. You just really want to do a good job. Oop, not do that. Getting all the black areas covered. We are going to do a black wash, so just be mindful of that. That if you don't want to fix some areas, you don't have to. And it's your model. However you want it. Keep telling you guys, however you want to do it, you do it. No one's got a gun to your head and says, paint it perfect. If they do, you should probably call the police or something, but we had hit some more of that red on the blue, so let's just clean that up. Just to make it as clean as we can here. And we have the opposite here. We have some red there. Okay, now let's go to our gray, our basalt gray, for the tracks and the arms and the cannons. This is like a good Gundam sprue gray color. I am quite liking it. Get all the sides here. I'm gonna try to leave the deep inside of the tracks black because it's just super deep in there. It doesn't need to be this gray color. So let's get those. And then we're gonna get should actually get all these. Inside of all of those. Do like a top brush there to get that. Get all the wheels. And we're gonna do the same to this side. I didn't realize there was like this side of the track, which I want to get just because I have some of that color on it that it is not. So let's clean that up. We'll get right back to this side. Evie, oh, you're gonna sleep on you. She's gonna lay on her little bed. Okay, so tracks. Now we gotta get our arms. To get it on as smooth as you can. You don't want a bunch of streaks and paint brush strokes and stuff on here. So we'll probably have to do a couple coats. And we can move on to the backpack here, the recoil and exhaust of the cannons. again, we're just going to try to get the sides of these. We don't need to go inside here. We'll finish off those areas right there. That. Then we got the cannons themselves. Moving along to the different sections here, trying to get all of it painted. Just clean up those inside areas there. And we'll go to this arm. Okay, now we'll take some more and just clean up any of this stuff that didn't go on so great the first time. Just make it a little bit more clean. Especially on these bits here. Okay. Go back to that blue because I did hit right here. Clean that up. Well, we're gonna have to clean that up in a second anyway. So now we get our yellow, just flat yellow. Yellow has not been the bane of my existence this time around. We're gonna go inside here. You see, I said like we're gonna definitely have to clean these up. Then we gotta do 2 more yellow spots. One is right here on this little dot right here. Like that. There's also one right here. Like that. So now we're gonna go back into our white. Do our best here to clean up the head here. And just being careful around those areas that we've just painted. There's that. And for the glass, we're gonna use this deep sky blue color. I like my favorite blue paint. We used it in quite a few of our armies on this channel, but now it will be gracing the head. I don't know if that's like a separate piece there, so I'm just gonna leave it. And we're just gonna just like redo some areas. We might have to redo this after the wash because I don't want the glass to be washed on this thing. All right. So now, speaking of wash, we're gonna get our black Nuln Oil shade here from Games Workshop and our shitty brush. And we're gonna start with the tracks. Just because they've been like not touched the longest. So we have the least chance of messing stuff up if we go here first. We can also do that. We're putting on pretty heavy right now and we can always take it off later. Okay. So now we have to hope that the yellow has had enough time to dry to where when we put this on, it's not pulling off paint and putting it all over everything else, which it does not look to be, so we can continue. Okay, so we do have some yellow on our brush, so we're gonna clean our brush off right now. And we're gonna avoid those little inside areas because that's where it's coming from. So like those vents on the arms, I mean on the chest, that's where it's coming from right now. So we're just gonna make sure we pull it off there. And we don't like this to pool, but if you wanted to, you could on this guy. I mean, it's a tank. It is a very grungy, dirty vehicle. So I don't think anyone would be like, oh, your tank's dirty. I mean, you do whatever you want. Again, like I keep saying, do whatever you want. If you want to grunge it up, grunge it up. Suck some of it out of there. We'll grab some of this. It's not as heavy there. We'll take it off here. Just like a flat spot. It doesn't need the dirt there. Also got some yellow there. Let's get that off. Okay. And that is our Guntank. As always, everybody, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And here is our... He got stuck to the thing that I had him on. Here's our gun cannon from last week. So we have now finished the first set of Assemble miniatures for the Gundam miniature game. So we have the gun cannon, the gun tank, and Gundam himself. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next one.